All right.
Yes, when I message somebody, my screen shows up blue when I
Oh, that. Yeah. Okay. Should I get into this? Should I? Not really, right? I mean, I.
talking or messaging someone. But when I'm done
This is like Janie explaining you how to properly fill a trash can, how to keep it from being uh, too heavy on one side, not heavy enough on the other. This is the wisdom of Janie.
messaging, my little picture comes up on the bottom of what I message. And here's another thing that's weird.
She always says it. What is she, Columbo? Here's another thing. Oh no, he said, just one more thing. But she said, here's another thing. So, and here's another thing. Okay, let's hear it.
How come she messaged her mother at whatever time it says?
And your point?
Let me go back here. She messaged her mother at 11:33.
Okay.
If my kids were missing, don't you think I would have called my...
So her message is Belinda didn't see Jack and Lily for 2 years because she didn't care. Her message is that she doesn't, Malaya. She is a crazy old woman. Belinda had given Malaya space. Things were not good with her and Cody. She figured, let this young woman develop her own life or let her create her own life. Give her. She wasn't happy with that, but this woman keeps accusing other people to try to send a message to all of you. And the message is look at what they're doing. Don't look at me. So she at 11:33. Okay.
mother before that? Yes. When a message is read by someone that you are messaging to, if they read it, their little bubble comes up on the
Oh
bottom
God.
of what they wrote.
Okay.
Or I should say their picture. So that's how you know somebody has read your message.
Got it.
And as I said, it's supposed says on there 11. Sorry, I have to keep going back. It says that she missed a call at 11:33. Okay? Why would she wait so long if the kids were missing and she made a 911 call to about the kids? Why did she take so long to call her mother? Well, all that I can tell you is Malaya has the same phone as me, and it doesn't matter what phone I chat on to somebody. The little thing always comes up after on my message when...
Oh my God. At least this time, everything is in order. I don't have to jump around from audio clip to audio clip, and there's no yapping in between. So it's actually not that unstandable compared to some of the stuff that I had listened to in the future.
when somebody looks at it.
Okay.
That's all I can tell you. And here's another thing too. I called my brother at 10:09.
When people say that's all I can tell you, they can always tell you a lot more. But that's all they're willing to say.
18.
And they're worried about questions. They're worried about the questions that nobody has asked yet. The questions that really put them on the spot, where they are not going to do well trying to answer these questions, regardless of how they would approach the answer.
To tell him that the kids were missing. And Malaya waited till the time she called her mother to tell her the kids were missing. And I got on the phone and started calling my brother right away. And by the way, on my interview, the cameraman took pictures of my phone and my name on my phone to prove it's my phone. And he even took a screenshot of when Malaya called me when I was on the pipeline and told me to come back here. Well, Why send a screenshot
Always on the pipeline, right? Always on that pipeline.
to you guys or to this chat showing when she made the phone call to Malaya? Shouldn't it be when Malaya made the phone call when the kids went missing? Okay, here's another thing. If I get a phone call from someone, from my daughter saying my kids were missing, wouldn't you leave right away to come over to see your daughter and be there for her when she needed her? Not like an hour and 33 minutes said that she was leaving then.
What the hell are you talking about? Because you said she was there so early first. Because this is so convoluted, man. But it has nothing to do with her being a part of the cover up. You, Janie, Mackenzie, are a part of the cover up. Knowingly and willfully, you have helped cover up a crime that had been committed. You are a part of it. You were raking away the evidence at night, at the very least. And there's a lot more I'm sure that you had done. But this is what I know that you have done. And your son is something much worse than that. The son that you raised. The little boy whom you taught so well about everything, right? How to properly fill the garbage can, how to properly do everything, whatever it is. You taught him so well that at this age, he's moving his family and three little children into that shithole. And you think that you're in a position to teach anybody anything? You're in a position to lecture anybody about anything? What do you have to offer? Like, what is your life like?
Nothing happened the night before. I already told.
Nothing happened the night before. Everything happened the night before. Everything that we need to know more about happened that night before.
Needed her, not like an hour and 33 minutes said that she was leaving then. Nothing happened the night before.
Nothing? Also, dismissing everything. How about the night before we went. Tell us what happened the night before. What do you mean nothing happened? You sat there, all of you sat there motionless and didn't do anything. You didn't eat, you didn't brush your teeth, you didn't do any of that stuff. What is nothing? Using the term nothing also is trying too hard to convince us not to ask any further questions. Hey, it doesn't matter what you discover, what you hear, there's nothing to see. Ignore it.
Already told you. I heard the kids here Friday morning. Nothing happened to those kids.
And why are you now remembering Friday morning again? Back to the script.
Thursday night.
Nothing happened to those kids Thursday night. Tell us how you know. Tell us what they did that night. Tell us what you did. Tell us everything. Did your dog ever bark? Was there any noise? What do you mean nothing happened? You said you were building a fence, you were raking. What were you doing? What did you see? We want to know. Okay, they came back at 4:09, and then at 6 we did this, and I saw them do that, and then I want you to give us a timeline. I want you to tell us without any type of spin or interpretation what you know. What do you know about Friday night? What do you know about, Thursday night? What do you know? It's for us, it's gonna be for the investigators to decide what to do with the information that you're giving us. But the problem is when they're not giving us information. Instead of giving us information, they're already interpreting it. They're already um, making a judgment. What's important, what's not important. But the fact that she's so dismissive here, again, Thursday night is highly sensitive.
Friday morning, I heard them. I just love it when I put on a message here and then I see all these little people just
Friday morning, I heard them.
lining up to hear what I have to say. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question, Vanessa.
Yeah, she never had this kind of social media moment. And she's from the old generation, so to her it's like, wow, oh my god, look how this works. This is so cool. Holy shit.
Because I do not know where the kids are, so I can't answer it. As
Nobody
I
does.
said, I don't know where
They're out in the vast ocean. Nobody knows the exact location. So that is something that's going to be easy for her to say again and again because she's not lying. She's technically not lying, right? Right.
the kids are. Believe me, if I knew, you don't think that I would let the investigation.
A question. Believe me. First of all, believe me. Demanding that we believe her. With before saying what she has to say. Okay, I believe you. What is it? Are you kidding me? If I knew, okay, there's a possibility she knows, but also that, you know, she's very comfortable to display whether or not she does at this moment. You don't think that I would let the invest? No, I don't think so.
Leaders of the RCMP know where they are.
Remember the Jerry McCain embedded confession where he starts, where his denial, there is no reliable denial. No, and that's an, did you kill your daughter? No, and that's an emphatic no. And why? How would, but all these questions, right? Trying to get your mind away, trying to get you to think about something completely different. That's why they're asking so many questions. They want to overload you. And unfortunately, most people bite these types of baits. And then people start arguing with each other, theory against theory.
Believe me, I wished I did know
Again, believe me,
where they were. I would, if they were close, I would go get them myself.
if they were close, but they're not. You see what she's doing here? They're not close. Don't look at us. Don't look at my property. That's why she told you my property is not by the ocean because the children's bodies are in the ocean.
I wouldn't care what anybody said or what anybody done.
What anybody done, like your son? She's telling us that something was done and she knows about it. And there's no risk in these statements because the children are in international sea, like Daniel put it.
I would go get them myself, but I do not know where the kids are. I am sorry. I hope this nightmare comes to an end soon because if not, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown.
Good. So that nightmare again, similar to Katie Proudfoot. No, you don't make it a nightmare. It is a nightmare if your children are missing, but your focus will be on the positive. The thing that will keep you going is the thought that the kids are alive. If you believe in that, that will keep you going. You don't feel sorry for yourself. You don't, when you sit back and you surrender, it shows that you know for a fact there's nothing that can be done anymore. There will not be positive news coming up, coming out of this. This is it, Janie. You see, when Chris Proudfoot talked about, well, I'm not going to tell you where to go look because if you look there and you find Sebastian, you're going to say, I knew. What? If Sebastian was going to be found, you would be the hero. And if Sebastian says, well, I had a bad night and I ran away and it's not Chris's fault, then that would be a good thing for you. But it is about knowing what happened and knowing that what happened is really, really, really bad. And as for her nervous breakdown, she will not have a nervous breakdown. People like that don't have nervous breakdowns. People like Malaya do. Her no. They're people who constantly whine about their conditions. As Malaya revealed, my health, my this, my that. People who constantly bother other people with whatever their own issues are tend to actually do really, really, really well. It's the people who hide their pain. And again, I think Malaya needs to do what she. I have nothing good to say about her, but I will tell you this much. Um, she was overwhelmed by the chaos that Daniel gotten her into. She was overwhelmed. So when she had an anxiety attacks, yeah, what happened? Something triggered that. And the complainers, I am not worried about at all. Oh my God, the complainers will make sure you suffer alongside with them. Yeah, let me see you break down. That's never gonna happen.
Believe me. And my dog is going to have one too because he's just.
Oh my God. What about Jack and Lily? You pushed them also. You pushed them hard. And what happened when Malaya had an anxiety attack? Why don't you explain that to us? Were you in the trailer just yapping and Daniel was screaming and freaking out and all of that and all? Why don't you tell us more, man? Damn dog.
He's just like me. He's so nervous.
He's a dog. He's not just like you. I thought you said you're just like everybody else. I'm not like a dog. I'm different.
He's so upset. He's so much anxiety.
Zero self awareness. How stupid she comes off. Humanizing.
Because I'm got so much in me that my dog is feeling it. And it's not fair to him.
I'm sure the dog feels everything that you feel, and that's why he has whatever he has. I'm pretty sure that the dog's behavior is very much a reflection of how you felt towards Jack and Lily. Maybe he would have enjoyed being out in the yard and playing with the kids.
So I would love this to be over too, believe me. I would do anything in the world to find those children. Hey, I'm going to answer about two more questions and then.
So there is also the part of her that thinks that, well, if the children were to be found, which I don't think so, being out in the ocean, but if at least a lot of people would maybe back off and stop, um, interest would be lost. That's possibly one of the, um, you know, thoughts that may develop in her mind. There are many thoughts, but this is actually only a minor thing. I'm going to answer one about two. Okay, she told us a long time ago she wasn't going to answer anything else, right? But I think she's enjoying it, getting all the attention all of a sudden. All eyes on her. You know why? Because just like Chris Proudfoot, she likes to lecture people. All of a sudden, she has an audience. She hasn't worked for this audience. She has no skill that gets people to listen to her, that would get people to listen to her. All of a sudden, she is given a platform. Similar with Chris Proudfoot, even Daniel. All of a sudden, they're on a high and they think, oh my God, all these people are listening to me. And of course, she probably sees, there's a filter there. She sees many, many idiots who actually believe her. They don't necessarily believe everything she says, but they are on her side more or less, or they're in between. You know what I mean? People like me are not in there. You know, the moderator, whoever is in there is on her side.
I'm calling it a night because I'm starting to get a headache.
I know you're getting a headache and your feet hurt and you have anxiety and your dog's losing hair and you don't know and your nervous system and all of this, everything about me, not one thing about what have Jack and Lily gone through. Nothing. And yes, I do believe that, her tears, some of her tears were real. When she's talking about Belinda, I believe the tears were real. She had no regard for Jack and Lily, but she is thinking grandma to grandma. How would I feel if I was never able to see my children again? Because she knows that Belinda will never be able to see Jack and Lily again. And so, yep, there are quite a few triggers. And these triggers, they cause real emotions to surface. But we need to make sure that we identify the reason for that and don't say, oh, well, everything she says, every crying is fake. No, it's not. Or look, she's crying. No, no, she's not. She's pretending to. Look, Daniel's crying. No, Daniel was never crying, not one time. He was portraying certain mannerisms, holding his hand in front of his eyes and Jackie, and he was doing these kinds of things. He was pushing for what he thinks somebody would sound like if he was crying because he was out of his mind and worry over the two children that he, in my opinion, had harmed.
Repeating myself over and over again.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, if somebody asks me a
Then don't. Okay, never mind.
question that I already answered, I'm going to say answered, and then I'll take the next one. I'll give you a chance for two more questions, so they better
Look how much he loves to be in control. Can you believe how it was on this property?
be questions that I haven't already answered.
She enjoys this bullshit.
Please. I don't know who the lady is that was asking me the questions earlier. If she's here, she can ask me the questions, please. Okay, if the question is already asked, I'm going to say answered it. Then you guys can go back and look at the answers because I'm not going to be here all night answering all your questions over again. I'm sorry. I'm getting older by the minute.
And now she's getting old. Another negative, another thing that's happening to her.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I cannot say they were abducted by a stranger. That's my my opinion.
Right.
As I said, I lived here for 26 years.
And
I know the traffic on this road. And I brought my kids up here. And Jack and Lily have lived here for 2 years. So I can't understand why it happened Friday.
because it didn't happen Friday.
After them living here for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. The $1 million question is, why did Sebastian run out of the house? I can't understand why it was Friday. Sebastian didn't walk out of the house, and it didn't happen on Friday.
And the way acted.
And that's also her telling us, yeah, you have no reason to believe it, but that's how it happened, right? Knowing that none of what she says makes sense. She is telling you, I don't know. Hey, I'm just like you and I agree with you, but that's what happened. Acknowledging the fact that it doesn't make sense sometimes helps people. Well, it doesn't help people, but helps people like her to convince, others of what they should never buy into, ever.
The way Malaya was acting.
And again, she has nothing concrete. She just wants your mind to go there. And she thinks that Malaya needs to take some heat because Malaya left. Malaya is not fighting with them. Malaya just abandoned them. Malaya took the easy way out, in her opinion. So she thinks like she's trying to um, delegate. That's what the word is. She's trying to delegate like a manager. Okay, now it's time for Malaya. You're just standing around. You get on the fries or something like that, like a McDonald's manager, right? That's all it is. There's nothing she has on Malaya. All of these fabrications about Malaya's family and the reservation, all of it concocted by Daniel and friends who, in my opinion, share some very similar hobbies.
My opinion, I feel like she knew what was going on.
And she did. And so did you.
There's those three questions
Three? The number three. Give it to me.
that I asked earlier. One, how would anybody know the kids were home from school? And
How would anybody? Because that's not what happened. But, oh, Malaya told them, right? Well, they looked at her phone, right? This is absolutely ridiculous. All of the stuff with, this is absolutely insane. But you see, she realizes people are stupid enough to listen to Durwood. And that gave her wings. So she realized people believe nothing that I say. And I don't know why. Because of a mix of everything, your hatred, the fact that you still hate on two children who are missing, your voice, it's everything. The way you're staring at the journalist, everything. Um, but you realize that the majority of people was dumb enough to allow Durwood into their mind. So she will not let go of this story because for a minute she had hope that people are going to look away from her and say, oh, huh, I be damned. And he's Malaya's relative and I be damned. Wow. You see, even though it doesn't make any sense, she will continue with that. And she wants you to look back there in this area. So
two, how would they know when the kids were outside playing? And three, when I seen Malaya standing outside of when I opened the RV door, she wasn't panicked, she wasn't out of breath, and she wasn't crying.
and you were crying for Jack and Lily. You were? People don't always cry. I believe that Justin was actually really crying. He was in shock over what he saw when he came in to help. Daniel wasn't crying
Or yelling for those kids.
because she knew what happened, and so did you. So what else is new? Oh my God, people! I'm gonna look at some comments in a minute because I just found a good one. I like it when you guys. Does she go to the vet for medical treatment? One moment. And I understand that this video was the other one. This was a boring video, but I need to warm myself up and do it little by little. So, and I see what kind of boring videos some people pay attention to. So I figured, and I realized it's still better and more informative. So now I always appreciate the comedic interludes. Anything funny, you guys, trust me, I love it. Does she go to the vet for medical treatment? Yeah. Her dog and her she's just like her dog, right? She told us that. Or the dog is just like her. Janie is the queen of contradictions. I'm very interested, Mike. I learned something. Very interested, Mike. Yeah, and by the way, come to think of it, I love to rewatch Peter Hyatt's older videos again and again. And most people, they will say, "What the hell are you doing? This is so damn boring, don't you have a life?" No, I do have a life. That's why I'm watching it. That's why I am not watching um, the stuff that is not informative. So sometimes the lack of humor is something that you need to take into account to get to the goods. And remember my video, what happened was, that's where I'm going to go into my truth, my side of the story. What happened was, how to detect priorities early. Remember, of course you do, Emmanuel Harrow, the video I made. I did this because I thought it was a wonderful way for me to introduce to you how P.L.A.I.D.S works in action. The priorities are what matters. What is the priority? And the one statement that stood out to me was, um, please bring back our son. Please don't harm my son. I believe at one point she actually did try to protect her son from him because they were no longer in unity when it came to the issue of the son being harmed. So, like Janie would say, um, Mike, you are very invested in your work. Please don't stop. I am. I can't help it. Nobody could stand Lily scream. Yikes. Talks about, yeah, yeah, yeah. I would decide. I mean, I'm used to children screaming and yelling, and I don't have an issue with it. Yeah, I have an issue when I'm at the playground and somebody kicks a ball and it, you know, knocks the phone out of my hand. That I have an issue with. Then I change how I am, right? But kids screaming, that's what kids do, man. I love what you did here. Very thoughtful strategy with plates. Yep, and that's exactly what I want you guys to get a hang of. She wants everyone to go away, forget about it because she has, I don't know what you say. Thank you, Mike. Please continue. Yep, I'm new. I really love your channel and I love how you're fighting for Jack and Lily. You know, if you're new, that's why I once in a while mention certain videos. Like, what happened was to help you get introduced to what many of the people here already have been learning. This woman is heartless and they all make it about themselves. Not a, yeah. Jack has his coat off. How many coats did Jack have? According to the school, neither he nor Lily had proper winter attire. And the coat not being on, and the shoes not being on. Remember what Janie said? This could also be leakage about that night. Her reminding Daniel, you need to make sure you take the clothing. Please continue, Mike. Yes, I will. Her dog is more important than Jack and Lily. I didn't see nothing as a double negative, so she is saying she saw something. Also, she's making past tense statements. I am a big animal lover, but for if two babies are missing, I'm not going to on about my dog. Absolutely. My grandchildren being loud. Yeah, Lily's scream probably happened due to her being overwhelmed and overexcited. I agree with you. Uh, Shine on She Was Four was a birthday party for her little brother. Yeah, okay. You are on this story analysis 100% correct. The whole family is complicit. We need to know. Okay, so as I've said in my last video, in my last two videos, I've talked about just the fact that I believe Daniel was at the pipeline again and again when he said he went out searching through all the culverts and everything. Well, he didn't mention the pipeline, did he? He didn't mention that particular area. But that's where he was and he returned to. He wanted to make sure he didn't drop anything. They're not going to find anything. And it's also his way of saying, hey, police, yeah, yeah, I got this covered. Malaya said Janie would call her and tell her if the kids were not in the yard. I bet that call was like, Malaya, the kids are not in the yard making so much noise, my dog is getting upset. Or, Malaya, the kids are out in the yard making so much noise, my dog is getting upset. Get the kids back in the house so my dog can calm down. Pretty much. I doubt very seriously Janie went outside to play with the kids. Of course not. If she really cared about them, then she would have been enduring instead of hostile. She didn't give a rat's ass. Malaya or, yeah, absolutely. Lord only knows what the dog witnessed. Yeah. Remember, my dog didn't say anything or something like that? That also went through her mind. Thank God the dog cannot talk. Remember her statements about that? She's overly humanizing the dog, and I'm telling my dog, and my dog didn't say anything, right? Something like that? Well, it's also on her mind. Hey, thank God he can't talk, man. Because he'd snitch on me in a heartbeat. I mean, so I had to start it over. Mikey, Kim, Janie, and a dog. Oh, yeah. Okay. The dang dog probably wants to be free of that old nutbag. Yeah, I think so too, man. I think the dog would have loved to enjoy playing with Jack and Lily, but he sort of acted out her anger, and to some degree, Daniel did the same thing. You have a hateful mother like that, and again, the unstable baby's boy syndrome, mama's boy syndrome, the unstable mama's boy. Chris Watts, Brian Laundrie, all these unstable ones, and the mom didn't make it any better. Janie makes a distinction between her grandchildren and Malaya's kids, but at least, but you know what? But when it came to Malaya, Janie knew Daniel will fight for Malaya. He didn't give a fuck about Jack and Lily. But when it came to Malaya, she knew she has to tolerate Malaya because Daniel probably, he's like, I'm 33 years old. I, you know, I live in a piece of crap trailer that no woman wants to even enter. And I got somebody who's sharing it with me. So lay off Malaya. I think there was probably a time when Daniel actually put down his foot when it comes to that. Maybe he said, if Malaya's leaving, I'm leaving. Something like that. And she likes to be on control with people she can control. And Daniel she can control. Janie makes a distinction between her grandchildren and Malaya's kids. Of course. I love loud kids. They are bursting to be noticed. Just want to be heard. Me too. Me too. When I take my daughter to that playground, I love it. I mean, I love sitting there and I love to, I know people there, I always run into people I know. But I love just to hear the sound of children playing. And again, only like some of the bigger boys, when they start playing football, I have to be the hard ass and make sure that they don't do it because they also hit kids, other kids, they hit children in the head with that, you know what I mean? But this is what comes to mind when I think about what could be annoying about children. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Daniel did something to the kids, and Janie doesn't care and help cover. Yeah, of course. I guess the RCMP are just waiting for them to. I don't know. If they're really at Trans Harbor, then they may get to something. But again, if the cops are watching, maybe revisit the pipeline just in case. And oh, remember when they went back to the pipeline? So the RCMP, in my opinion, are more on it than we may be able to see. I think they revisited it to see other pieces of evidence. And maybe one of the people working on the case early on, having all of the information, realized that Daniel keeps returning there. So maybe Daniel is looking for evidence that he dropped. Maybe Daniel is there because he wants to ensure nothing is going to be found. So there's a possibility actually Daniel removed some additional evidence, on top of the blanket and the footprint and so on and so on and so on. He removed it. And by the time they got back, they were maybe like, damn, it's too late. He beat us to it. That's what I believe happened. I guess the RCMP are just waiting for them to incriminate themselves. Okay, I got this. How does she sleep at night? uh, or look at herself in the, well, I wouldn't look at myself in the mirror. Anyways, she was stressed out about Jack and Lily living, and maybe the dog will talk. Um, yeah. What if Malaya called Janie 3 times? Why wouldn't Janie immediately call Malaya back? Yeah, absolutely. Jack and Lily could have been found, and Malaya, absolutely. She knew there was not going to be any news. Please continue, Mike. We watch you continue. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you, Mike. I hope you are getting some rest. Good video, in my opinion, dude. Yeah, I needed some rest yesterday. And that's why sometimes when I don't have the energy, even though I suffered through a long video where I'm like, oh, why am I listening to this? And in this particular part, of course, I was happy. This guy put it all together from a channel where he cut out the yapping. He basically cut it only to consecutively have all of the messages, all of the audio from Janie McKenzie, all of it, right? And even though the yapping wasn't there, the interruptions, I still, it was getting painful a little bit at times where I thought, oh, I've been going through this already, right? I like to move fast and I like to always get to the things I don't know yet. But again, I didn't know at what part I'm going to get to the gold. I always do. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But I figure as long as that is my goal and what I'm focused on, it's okay. Sometimes I'm going to just go on and say, let's get started. And then we'll see. Awesome tartan op. Yeah, thank you so much, Kim. Love the colors. Oh my God, that shrill voice gives. Yeah. No, I love the colors too. It's, when the kids showed up here and the kids were yelling and screaming. Janie, we were speaking about the RV, not the trailer. Anybody else notice how she did that? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I revisited. Wait a minute. I guess this part you timestamped. Do you dig it? Yes. What synchronicity? Played. I know. Thank you, Sandra, for teaching me about the Scottish clans. So my first thought was, I'm going to get a plate of the McClouds because I couldn't pronounce it. Right. But then you gave me the beautiful idea to get the plate from the Mackenzies. Yeah. Because the Martells don't have one. Wait a minute. And note also, people who try to over-explain statement analysis and make it sound too complicated, they don't truly understand it. And that's one thing I loved about Peter Hyatt, that he was able to explain it so very well. Most people don't. And when you ask them specific questions, chances are they're not going to be able to answer the questions. And many times they have to chat with somebody online to get the answers given to them by somebody who may have them while they don't. And another thing is that when memorizing is not learning. Memorizing, like with mathematics, for example, we have gone through a school system where basically the approaches and the steps are being taught in a way that even people who don't understand it can be able to memorize how to do it. And that is not learning, people. I either teach or I don't. If I do, I do. So the reason that I keep this pretty much short enough is because I want you to think about examples from your own life when people have been deceptive. The intention part is the only mistake I make. I made. What do you see? I'm self-correcting like crazy because of what I do. Uh, what? Not so much in real life, but with you guys, because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, what did you do there? Were you deceptive?" No, I'm not. What do they really want from us was what I was going to. So if I redo it, this is going to say in capital letters, what do they really want from us? making sure of that. The priorities. What happened was, the story goes, once upon a time, it was a day like any other. Apply this to everything, guys. And if you don't need it, don't do it. Don't be like a sheep, right? Who only is who operates like a machine. Okay, I have to go step by step and step, and now I got to go to the A, now to the I. Don't do that. Don't do that. My suggestion is to have plates in front of you at any given time so you never get stuck. But the best way, in my opinion, is when you allow your intuition to flow and travel down that road. But there are times that we all get stuck. And during those times, it is absolutely wonderful to have this handy, to be able to look at it and realize, oh, I didn't even think about what the intentions may be, or um, okay, messages, good, or what sensitivities are there, and how does it all come together? Sensitivities, and sometimes they overlap, but sensitivity, for example, the ATV is a huge sensitive area. The ATV to Daniel, to Janie, very sensitive area. Again and again and again and again. And also, no, Daniel didn't drive the ATV, right? Why don't you overlook it? You already answered the question. Why don't you get past it, woman? Why don't you just skip it? Why is it so important for you to reply again and again to something you already answered? That makes no sense, except it does. It does make all the sense in the world, people. I'm done for now. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon.